Hey everybody, Brett Mix here for the Monday Night Wars. We take a look at the WWF side this week, and I review the video in under 10 minutes, like always, for the Wars. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these. Only the good stuff left to go as we're in the early stages of the Attitude Era. Plus, you can check these reviews. They're all archived, so for whenever you want to go back and look, whenever you want to watch the Monday Night Wars, you don't have to follow along necessarily with me, but whenever you want to go back, all the Raws and Nitros are archived. And this is the 213th episode in Raw's history. Ratings for this Raw were 2.5. So not bad, but Nitro did 3.3. So 3.3 to 2.5, that's a win by 0.8 for Monday Night Nitro. Nitro has won 48 weeks in a row. After this week's loss, the total scoreboard in the Monday Night Wars for Monday Night Raw is 17 wins, 66 losses, and 2 draws. It went on for Monday night for this week for the June 2nd, 1997, live on the USA Network from the Huntington Civic Center in Huntington, West Virginia. Pyros go off and we get welcome to Raw as Vince McMahon and Jim Ross are on commentary. We open up with a video package of Austin and HBK becoming champions last week when they defeated the Bulldog and Owen. And there was still controversy after the match. Plus, that we see Undertaker joining Paul Bearer when he went on one knee and praised Paul Bearer as his new manager because he doesn't want Bear to tell a secret to the fans. So now Bear owns Taker. Taker begins the show with an opening promo with his lights off and the theme music playing while he talks, saying how he has taken Paul Bear as his manager. He said, "May Paul burn in hell for all eternity for what he's done." Paul Bear comes to the ring and says Taker talks too much, and together they'll run through the WWF and rule the world. That's when Psycho Sid's theme hits because he's the ruler of the world. Sid comes down to a big pop as he's returning, as he hasn't been on in a couple months. Sid says he's the ruler of the world, like I just said, and says that Taker beat him and has treated the title with honor since he lost it to him at WrestleMania 13. He said he wants a rematch, though, and tonight. Farooq then came out and says we will finish punking out Taker at King of the Ring, which is this Sunday on pay-per-view. The go-home show is tonight. So Farooq, Sid, and Taker said their piece in that opening promo from Raw. The opening match inside the ring is Farooq versus Ahmed Johnson. Farooq stays out there. Ahmed comes down to a nice ovation. Former rivals going at it. Ahmed would turn the page soon and go with the Heels Nation, but we're not quite there yet in those reviews. Ahmed Johnson said in a pre-match promo that he's taking out the Nation leader Farooq and doesn't care about his friends. Ahmed with quick power moves and brawling like Savio and Crush in the Nation. He doesn't care about them. Farooq came back with his shoulder blocks to Ahmed, and he worked on his back until he just got countered a spinebuster slam by Ahmed. One of the two moves he does really good, the spinebuster. The Nation comes to the ring, and Savio tripped Ahmed until Taker came to the ring attacking the Nation. Farooq got involved. Everyone brawled after that, but Ahmed gets pummeled and thrown back into the ring. And it was easy for Farooq to beat him right after that at 3:08 as a result of a pinfall. Undertaker chokeslammed Ahmed in the ring, and Taker looks angry doing so. 3/4 of a star. I'm sure Paul Bear ordered Undertaker to chokeslam Ahmed Johnson a face, and he did not look happy by that. The Hart Foundation are interviewed by Vince. Austin HBK are on split screens while the Hart Foundation are all in the ring with McMahon. But yeah, Austin is on one side of the Titantron. HBK is on the other side on splits, different rooms. Brett talks to Austin and HBK from there. Brett then talks about Donovan Bailey, a Canadian runner, beating a guy from Texas. Brett says a lot of Texans fake knee injuries. That was a good one. Brett says there's no rematch for Austin HBK against the Bulldog and Owen for the titles. HBK then talks about Brett and his excuses and how Austin left him last week as he wanted the Hart Foundation, but Austin interfered, wrecking it. And Austin said he wanted to take out Brett for good. HBK says Austin failed. Stone Cold says you don't ever say I didn't do the job right. HBK says he didn't do the job at all. Austin said, HBK, come down to this ring and we could do it together. HBK stormed off to Austin's dressing room on that split screen, and they go at it backstage in the same room, verbally. Brett is backstage is laughing with Brian Pillman, but at this point, Owen backs off the cameraman and gives them some privacy. Pillman says, as the cameraman got closer to the Hart Foundation in the middle of the ring, and Owen said, no, give me some privacy, and he was happy as hell. Austin says he will whoop the Hart Foundation's ass, and that's the bottom line. And Owen Hart went like this. He went, you better watch your mouth. It was hysterical, Owen Hart. I have to think that that's how he was backstage with people. That kind of goofy comedy. So we saw a glimpse of that there, and I recommend anybody that rewatches this Raw to watch for that. Owen Hart then defended his Intercontinental title against Bob Holly, a guy who got his upset victory over Owen Hart a couple weeks ago in Bob Holly's hometown. Holly slams Owen on the ropes, and it's a beautiful belly-to-belly suplex, countered it by Owen Hart. Owen out of nowhere locks on a Hurricane Rana into a sharpshooter and defends the title successfully at 317. I gave it 2 stars. HBK agrees he'll take on Austin at King of the Ring. The Take 2 champions will face off for the first time on pay-per-view. We do another Mankind Jim Ross segment for later. Goldust with Marlena took on Triple H with Chyna. They show clips of before when Chyna and Marlena have had previous encounters. Helmsley ducked and Goldust rolls up Hunter for the victory. Goldust has finally beaten Triple H at 348. He'll also meet the Bulldog for the European title next week on Raw. I gave that match a 1.25 stars. Pyro goes off as the second hour begins. Stone Cold and HBK defend their titles against the LOD. They showed how over the LOD was, that they were getting pops over Austin and Shawn Michaels in the match. And that was when Austin and Shawn are in their prime. Not their prime popularity-wise, but their prime in the ring. Tons of fast-paced action and brawling throughout this 10-minute tag team contest between the LOD and Austin and HBK. In the end, Austin and HBK lose by countout at 10-13. Thus, they kept the titles because it wasn't a pinfall or submission loss. This match was kept at good pace. I gave it 2.25 stars. They play Mankind and JR's interview some more. He talks about being finally home in a hardcore environment. Mankind says he felt pure joy and torture because for the first time he was respected and loved. People lined up and chanted his name. He said he's not sure about dignity if he has any left. Ross asks about his scars, and he says they're from the death matches in Japan. Foley points out where the scars took place all over his body, all over the world. Foley talks about ladies not treating him with the same respect. JR says that next week the interview's metamorphosis for Mankind. We'll see what happens next week, as I think things get a bit physical in that interview segment. The King then joins the commentary group with McMahon and Ross for Mankind versus Savio Vega, the final first-round match in the King of the Ring tournament. Winner of this faces Jerry Lawler in the semifinals on pay-per-view this Sunday. Jerry Lawler comes to the ring to commentate for this match, as said, not just because he's on commentary, but because he faces the winner on pay-per-view. Mankind's first match as a face in the WWF. Mankind getting a big ovation. He charged Savio into a back body drop. Mankind on the entrance ramp, then a leap off by Savio Vega. Crush hits Savio with a hard punch on the outside, and Mankind wins and gets a big ovation. Lawler, after the match, took off his robe. Crush inadvertently did this. It didn't mean anything. Savio and Crush then had some problems post-match as Foley wins at 301, 3/4 star, thanks to the heart punch by Crush inadvertently. We know Lawler will be up against Foley, so Triple H will meet Ahmed. Those are the 2 semifinals for the King of the Ring. HBK will take on Austin for tag champions facing off, and Farooq tries to become the first black man ever when he faces The Undertaker for the WWF title at King of the Ring. They show clips of Sid Taker from earlier in the night, and we got the main event now. The Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on Psycho Sid. This is the rematch from the WrestleMania 13, obviously. First time they've ever met since then. Psycho Sid tries to gain an advantage on The Undertaker early and often, working over his back. 2 big men going at it. JR calls him not a technical wizard, but he possesses power at 6'9", 315 pounds. Well, I weigh 301, so if Sid weighs that, it means I weigh way too much. And I think I do. I go to the gym, though, at least. Now I am. Raw is going to live from Hartford next week, where Pillman will meet Austin. Goldust will challenge for the European title, as I said before, against the Bulldog. Sid off the ropes, flying clothesline by Taker, then a tombstone out of nowhere, and he gets the win at 447, 3/4 star. After the match, the entire nation take apart the Undertaker and Sid when he shows up to help Taker, and both guys get beat on and whipped by the nation. The nation give the salute, so Crush and Savio Vega, they put their differences from earlier in the night aside so they can be with Farooq here and strong for their leader while he goes in to face Taker on pay-per-view. That ended the show with the nation in control. This episode scores a quality rating of 5.5 out of 10 because it had both the LOD and Austin HBK in the same tag match, which was a ton of star power there, and it went over 10 minutes for a good pace. Another good Hart Foundation promo as well. For a go-home show, did it feel a little blah? A little bit. More personal stuff with Taker and Paul Bearer, more personal stuff with Mankind. Goldust got a big win, so there was highlights on the show. So the scoreboard now after 85 weeks looks like this. 17 wins for Raw, 66 wins for Nitro, and 2 draws. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the Monday Night Wars. Thanks to everyone for watching along. I hope everyone can find these reviews and archives simpler, I should say. as I finish them up. So Raws are going to get more and more interesting entering the summer of '97. Thanks for watching. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.